think there was ever a question about the fact that he was going to be good. I think that a lot of us didn't know for sure how good he was going to be.
I've always been a high ball hitter. I've been not necessarily the straightest driver in the world, but always had a lot of power. Being able to harness that power, being able to control it, being able to discipline myself to play.
When Gary Player, one of the greatest golfers of all time, ranks himself only third on the all-time list, you have to wonder who could possibly be better. The answer he gives is simple: Jack Nicklaus. He's not alone. Arnold Palmer, Lee Trevino, Tom Watson, even Tiger Woods himself all point to the same name when asked who really was the greatest. So what did Jack Nicklaus do that made him better than everybody? Let's find out. The story starts in 1962 at Oakmont. Arnold Palmer was the king of golf. When he faced 22-year-old Jack Nicklaus in a U.S. Open playoff, everyone expected Palmer to win. Nicklaus had a mental fortress that couldn't be shaken. He beat Palmer 71-74. Palmer called it the biggest disappointment of his life. That loss taught him who Nicklaus was: mentally unbreakable. Palmer said he never heard Jack brag. He just went out and did it. Palmer watched Nicklaus dominate for 3 decades. Palmer won 7 majors and became the most popular golfer in the world. But he knew who the best player was. Palmer saw Nicklaus finish second constantly, 4 times at the U.S. Open, 7 times at the Open Championship, 4 times at the PGA Championship. Bobby Jones said after the 1965 Masters, Jack played a game with which he was not familiar. Palmer called Woods the most dominant and skilled player ever, but he separated skill from greatest career. For Palmer, Nicklaus sustained greatness for 3 decades with perfect sportsmanship. I put him in a category of 1. If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe and drop a comment on which rivalry you think pushed Nicklaus the hardest: Palmer, Player, Trevino, or Watson. No. Gary Player won 9 majors and the career Grand Slam. He has zero doubt about who the greatest is. Player's argument is simple. Look at the record book. For Player, the debate begins and ends with 18, but it's not just wins, it's the Silver Slam. Nicklaus finished second 19 times. He was runner-up more than Woods was the winner. Add wins and seconds, Nicklaus finished top 2 37 times. Woods did it 22 times. Player puts Nicklaus first, Woods second, himself third. Player hates what-if arguments about Woods. People say if Woods hadn't gotten injured, he would have passed Nicklaus. Player rejects this. He said if Tiger had made the right choices, he would have been the greatest. The worst saying in sports is if. It's meaningless. Player views longevity as a skill to master. Nicklaus had a biomechanically efficient swing. Woods' violent swing destroyed his joints. To Player, Woods' inability to stay healthy is a resume flaw. The ability to compete in majors for 25 years is a skill. Nicklaus had it more than Woods. Player also points out the competition was different in his era. He, Palmer, and Nicklaus all winning majors against each other, cannibalizing opportunities. Player won 9 majors while facing Nicklaus with 18, Palmer with 7, Watson with 8, and Trevino with 6. That's an incredible concentration of all-time greats competing in their primes simultaneously. Player argues that while Woods beat large fields measured by total numbers, Nicklaus beat fields packed with multiple major winners at their peak. The level of champions at the very top was significantly higher during Nicklaus's era than in the modern game. Lee Trevino brought pure chaos to Jack Nicklaus's calculated order. The Merry Mex was a relentless chatterbox, seemed completely fearless against the Golden Bear, and he had the results to back it up. Trevino beat Nicklaus in 4 major championships when they were going head-to-head down the stretch. The most famous showdown came in 1971 at the U.S. Open held at Marion Golf Club. When the tournament ended tied between the two men, had an 18-hole playoff scheduled for the next day. On the first tee of that playoff, Trevino famously pulled a rubber snake out of his golf bag and tossed it at Nicklaus. Jack laughed. The tension broke. Trevino went out and beat him 68-71. Trevino's success gave him a unique view of Nicklaus. He wasn't scared of the bear like others were, but he respected him deeply. Trevino's famous comment about Nicklaus was that he is so good at golf, it's actually boring. Not an insult, a real commentary on how efficient Nicklaus was. He saw Jack as a precision machine producing high fades with perfect regularity. Trevino marveled at Nicklaus's unique ball flight. In the 1960s and 70s, golf balls spun significantly more than modern ones. Controlling that spin was everything. Nicklaus played a high fade that landed softly on firm greens. Trevino said you can talk to a fade, but a hook won't listen. Nicklaus could stop a 1-iron on a green like it was a wedge. While Trevino had to manufacture different shots to compete, Nicklaus just hit his stock shot over and over. and that stock shot was better than everyone else's best attempt. But what Trevino really understood deep down was the mental pressure. He said he tried to get so far ahead that he could choke and still win, but he had to keep playing. That reveals the psychological weight of facing Nicklaus. With a lead, you felt him lurking. He was never truly out of a hole, never out of a tournament. Trevino said Nicklaus's mental toughness was unmatched. Jack never beat himself. You wanted to win a major against him, you had to go seize it. He wouldn't hand it to you with a mistake. That forced players like Trevino to play at levels that made them uncomfortable. Trevino's 4 major wins over Nicklaus are considered some of the greatest clutch performances in golf history, precisely because of who came in second. By the mid-1970s, Palmer was fading from championship contention. Player was transitioning into an elder statesman role on the tour. The main challenger to Nicklaus's dominance became Tom Watson, a young star from Kansas City with tremendous talent. Their rivalry gave us what many golf historians call the finest exhibition of pure golf ever played. The 1977 Open Championship at Turnberry in Scotland, duel in the sun. Nicklaus and Watson separated themselves from the field by 10 strokes. It became a match play event between 2 men. Scores of 68, 70, and 65 in the first 3 rounds. In the final round, under a blazing Scottish sun, traded blows. Watson won by 1 shot, 65 to Nicklaus's 66. It was the first time anyone broke 270 in a major. But the moment that defined their rivalry happened off the course. He walked off the 18th green. Nicklaus put his arm around Watson. He told him, "Tom, I gave you my best shot, but it wasn't good enough." Watson says that moment changed everything for him. He realized that beating Nicklaus required a level of performance that was almost superhuman. Watson went on to win 8 majors, but he always deferred to Nicklaus as the master. Watson said he thinks Jack may be the greatest player of all time. Acknowledged that Nicklaus was the standard every champion was judged against. Watson broke Nicklaus's heart again at the 1982 U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. Nicklaus was in the clubhouse with the lead. Watson chipped in for birdie from deep rough on the 17th hole. Nicklaus, watching on a monitor, could only smile. Once again, it took a miracle to beat him. Watson's chip in and Trevino's chip in at Muirfield in 1972 are iconic golf moments. They only happened because Nicklaus had shut the door on anything less than extraordinary. Watson gives us another amazing stat. In the 1970s, Nicklaus played 40 majors. He finished in the top 10 in 35 of them. It's 87.5%. Watson was in his prime during this decade, and he marveled at this. Being in contention in nearly 9 out of 10 majors over a full decade suggests Nicklaus was playing a different sport. Watson argues this relentless presence is what made Nicklaus better than everybody. He didn't just peak for a few years. He was the favorite for 20 years. The modern debate about golf's greatest centers squarely on Tiger Woods. With 15 major championships, Woods is the only real threat to Nicklaus's statistical dominance and legacy. And Woods did things nobody had seen before in the history of golf. The Tiger Slam, winning all 4 majors at once in 2000 and 2001, winning the 2000 U.S. Open by an astonishing 15 strokes, a margin that defies belief. At his peak, Woods played golf at a level that might have been higher than Nicklaus's peak, but the legends say peak performance is different from career greatness. Nicklaus won majors over 24 years from 1962 to 1986. Woods won over 22 years from 1997 to 2019, but with big gaps due to injury. Woods himself acknowledged how hard it would be to match Nicklaus. Early in his career, Woods said he wasn't as far along as Jack Nicklaus was at the same age, but he was trying. He called Nicklaus's record the gold standard. In 2012, Woods said nobody in the history of the game has been better at putting themselves in contention to win a major than Jack. Woods also deeply admired Nicklaus's strategic mind. Tiger often described his own major championship strategy as plotting, a term he borrowed from Jack. Nicklaus's philosophy was conservative strategy, aggressive swing. He aimed away from trouble, to the center of greens, relied on his putting to make birdies. He rarely took unnecessary risks. Woods copied this approach and dominated the early 2000s with it. Think about that. The most talented athlete golf had ever seen felt he needed to copy the strategy of a guy from the 1960s. That's the ultimate tribute to Nicklaus's mental game. Nicklaus once said, "Somebody is going to dust his records, and it might as well be Tiger, because he's such a great kid." Shows Jack's grace, but history had other plans. The physical toll of Woods' violent swing eventually stopped his pursuit. Woods' swing generated massive power but put extreme stress on his knee and back. Nicklaus played with a swing that was powerful but sustainable. Lifted his left heel, allowing a huge hip turn that created power without torque. He played relatively injury-free for 3 decades. As Player pointed out, this durability was decisive. Woods' failure to pass Nicklaus isn't just bad luck. It's proof that Nicklaus built a game and a body that could last longer. Let's talk numbers and hard facts. The Silver Slam is the most compelling statistical argument for Nicklaus. Second in majors 19 times. Finished second 7 times. Combined wins and seconds, Nicklaus was in the top 2 37 times in major championships. Woods did it 22 times. Nicklaus finished in the top 3 46 times compared to Woods' 26. Top 5 56 times compared to 33. Top 10 73 times compared to 41. During their primes, Nicklaus finished in the top 5 in 70% of majors he played from 1962 to 1978. Woods did it 56% of the time from 1997 to 2009. Even at his absolute peak performance, Woods didn't match Nicklaus's consistency rate. This backs up Watson's point perfectly. Nicklaus was the man you always had to beat in every single major. He didn't have off weeks in majors. Some say Woods faced deeper fields with more total players, true in total numbers, but Nicklaus faced more multiple major winners competing at their absolute best. The concentration of champions in the 1960s and 70s was remarkable. Palmer, Player, Watson, Trevino, Seve Ballesteros, Johnny Miller, Raymond Floyd were all winning majors. This was arguably higher than in the 2000s with Phil Mickelson, Ernie Els, Vijay Singh, and Retief Goosen. Plus, equipment matters significantly when comparing eras. Nicklaus played with balata balls and blade irons, primitive by today's standards. When you adjust scoring for the field average of each era, Nicklaus was gaining more strokes on his competition with worse equipment than Woods was gaining on his field with modern technology. Beyond the numbers and statistics, Nicklaus had intangibles others didn't possess. He was a dedicated student of golf course architecture, eventually becoming one of the world's top golf course designers. This architectural mind let him dissect courses in real time. He understood angles, slopes, and risk-reward better than opponents. Woods acknowledged this course management as a key difference. While others fired at pins and made bogeys, Nicklaus played to the middle of greens, 2-putted for par, and let the field come back to him. Nicklaus's sportsmanship also set him apart. The concession in 1969, when he gave Tony Jacklin a putt to tie the Ryder Cup, is legendary. His grace toward Watson at Turnberry in 1977 is another example. This didn't make him soft, it made him formidable. Opponents knew Nicklaus was so confident he didn't need gamesmanship. He beat you with his clubs, shook your hand, and praised your effort. That nobility is why Palmer, despite their rivalry, loved him like a brother. The capstone of the Nicklaus story is the 1986 Masters. At age 46, he was considered a ceremonial golfer, a legend playing out the string. Then on Sunday, he summoned ghosts from his prime and shot 30 on the back nine to win his 18th major. This victory did more than add a number. It proved his greatness wasn't tied to youth or athleticism alone. It was tied to his knowledge of Augusta National, his refusal to quit. He beat Greg Norman, Seve Ballesteros, and Tom Kite, the best players of the next generation, on the biggest stage. Nicklaus said he wasn't going to quit just because he was playing bad. He was going to keep playing because he thought he could play better. That belief, sustained over 24 years of major victories, the essence of his legend. So why was Jack Nicklaus better than everybody? Gary Player points to the record book, unbeatable math of 18 wins in 19 seconds. Arnold Palmer points to the completeness, nation of power, touch, and character. Lee Trevino points to the consistency, the relentless excellence that never gave opponents a break. Tom Watson points to the competitor, who forced rivals to reach their absolute best because nothing less would work. Tiger Woods points to the standard, historical marker that defines what's possible in golf. While Tiger Woods redefined the athleticism of the sport, Jack Nicklaus defined its competitive soul. His career was a marathon of excellence run at a sprint's pace. He faced the greatest legends Palmer, Player, Watson, Trevino, and came out with a record that remains untouched half a century later. Jack Nicklaus is better than everybody because he did it longer, he did it more often, and he did it against the very best. He didn't just earn their defeats, he earned their eternal reverence. If you enjoyed learning why the legends themselves say Nicklaus was the greatest, hit that like button and subscribe for more golf history. And tell us in the comments, do you think anyone will ever break Jack's record of 18 majors? Thanks for watching.